Welcome to Subramani. I would not know whether to call these commandments, but these are what I would tell a new doctor or even a person who is starting his own profession or business. Could be a chartered accountant, could be a lawyer, any professional could do well with these, let's call them commandments. One, if you are a doctor who is getting into practice, right, or a lawyer or a chartered accountant, if you are taking up a job, again most of this would be applicable, but certain things may not be applicable. So assuming that you have a 30-year career, right, so don't assume that you will never retire. Effectively, as a professional, you start earning at 30, you will retire at 60. Well, 60 could get extended to 65, not much more than that, especially if you want a life in retirement and you want to travel and things like that. You will retire at 60. Whether physically you can work, mentally you may be retired, right? So right now physically I can work, but do I want to work? That is the question to answer. So let's say you are a 28, 30-year-old doctor just starting out in life. Very good chance that if your parents did not pay for your education, you have a student loan. You don't have a home loan as of now, but you have a vehicle loan. It could be a two-wheeler, it could be a car, whatever. So you have a vehicle loan, you have educational loan, and you have a life to live, right? So maybe you're not yet married, you're looking, and you might marry somebody who maybe is also a doctor or a chartered accountant or a lawyer or maybe a housewife or whatever. And you're a man who is trying to build a life for 30 years. If you're a woman, and you're going to be totally dependent on your own income, you're not going to get married or anything, the same is applicable to you. However, if you're a woman who is going to take time off for having 2 kids, and you're going to be dependent partially on your husband's income, some small tweaks may be needed, but largely this is applicable to any professional immaterial of gender. So first, accept that you are not going to have a pension. None of us will have a pension. Maybe your father or your grandfather had a pension. None of us will have a pension. So saving for retirement is important. Now this may sound very odd to a 30-year-old. Maybe his father has not yet retired. Maybe his father is only 58 years of age and going to retire at 60. So it sounds ridiculous to say this person should start saving for retirement. As a doctor, you need to save and invest for many things. First is, of course, buying a good clinic, right? If your place of work, whatever you want to call it, clinic, hospital, whatever, the place of work for you to buy should be your first big investment. But to reach that, you may have to do SIP in debt and equity funds. Debt funds, because if your goal is not very far away, then you need to be in debt funds. If your goal is little far away, then maybe little bit in equity funds, right? But I don't think you will have more than 5-6 years in which to put in some money, borrow some money and buy a property, because you will want to work from there. Your house should not be your priority. You can stay in a rented house, but please work from a owned place, because you don't want to be shunted here and there while you are in practice. You don't want to practice in one day in one suburb and next day in another suburb. Even changing lanes and roads is not going to be very good for you. So physically you need to be in one place. So it makes sense to start saving / investing for buying that space and for your own retirement. How much should you save for retirement? The answer can be very different, but 20% of your income, if you save for your retirement for the rest of your life, you will have enough income or enough wealth at the age of 60 or 65 to live for another 25-30 years. Recently I saw a video which said you would require something like 70 crores if you are a 22-year-old today. I don't know, I have not verified those figures. Just as you finish your education and you will continue to do something called CME, which is continuing medical education, you should also start learning finance and do something called CFE, which is continuing financial education. Start from the basics, see why you should do an SIP, what is a mutual fund, what is a systematic investment plan. I'm sure you've heard these words, but go and find out exactly what it means. and just start. That is more important. Just making a start is important. At the beginning you may not be confident that you will be able to do this all on your own, so seek the help of somebody in the family. If your first cousin, if your mother, father, first cousin, brother, somebody is in the financial business and in the advisory business, then ask his or her help. That person being a chartered accountant to file income tax returns is of no use from an investment point of view. If you want investment advice, you're better off going to a independent financial advisor or a MFD or an RIA. Any of these, there's an alphabetical soup out there. Go and find out if they are competent. You have spent 7-8 years in getting educated as a BE MBA, or maybe a chartered accountant MBA, or a MBBS MD MS, whatever you have done, right? So make sure that the person you're dealing with is certified, knows what he or she is talking, and then start engaging with that person. And like I said, your CFE, continuing financial education, is very important. Saving, learning to save are two different things, and they are not easy, right? When you have lived as a student, typically what in the US is called a resident, or as a student, if you have lived in India, you have lived very frugally. In fact, I have done a video saying how long can you live as a student. So if you can live for 5 years or more as a student, which means your income has gone up but your expenses don't go up, you will be able to save and invest more. Wait till you get your place of work. That is the most important thing. Your retirement is important, but your place of work is important, because out of that income that you earn from that place, you will be able to save for your car, house, retirement, everything. So the place of work that you buy has to be very important. And like they say in retail work that you do, let's say you're a dentist or whatever, you're going to practice on your own, it is location, location and location. So you can't compromise on location because your budget is lower. So strike a fine balance between how much loan you want, how much you can pay, whether your parents are contributing, right? If you get married to, let's say you're a dentist and you're married a dentist, or you're an ophthalmologist and you're married an ophthalmologist, then of course some of the costs also get shared. So just find that out and start working on that. Yes, you will start saving for various things, including retirement. I'm not saying you will save only for retirement, but remember, a doctor or a chartered accountant or a lawyer, we are all professionals. So suddenly one day, if we can't earn for whatever reasons, we need to have a backup plan. So therefore the need to save for retirement, which could happen at whatever age. I mean, it could happen early because of God's reasons. I mean, or it could happen because you're bored, tired and bored, and you're looking for something else to do. You no longer want to practice, you want to do something else, right? So those are all reasons why that saving is useful and why you should have. Also remember to take insurance against all the catastrophes that you can think of. First is early death. You have taken a loan, your father has given a guarantee, your mother has given a guarantee, and you have your big educational loan, which is basically your father's loan. And suddenly, if you are no longer around, if you are 28 years of age or 25 years of age and you've died, there is no way how your parents can repay that loan out of their meager resources. And maybe your father has funded you, which means it has come out of his retirement corpus, or your mother has funded you, which means she has depleted her retirement corpus, right? So in such cases, it is useful to have some term insurance. Now, if your father had, say, 25 crores and he has spent 1 crore on your education, honestly, your father is not going to miss you financially. He will miss you emotionally, and that can't be insured. So see your family circumstances and decide to insure against early death. Definitely have to insure yourself against disability, against claims made by some party, which means the insurance against malpractice or mistakes in your practice. Typical malpractice suits happen these days. So claims due to sexual harassment, right? You form a private limited company, do a D&O insurance if you're a director, right? So all these things can happen, and don't think it happens only to strangers and outsiders. It could happen to anybody, and if it happens at a younger age, you want all this covered, right? Also remember that the second thing which I said, financial education. Once you have your financial education in place, it is possible for you to talk to bank managers, etc., and make sure that you don't mix your investing and your insurance. Don't take things like ULIP. If you don't understand, just take a pure term insurance. Take medical insurance. Don't think, oh, I'm a doctor, people will do free service for me. Nobody will. Your OT charges will have to be paid, the medicines will have to be paid, the nurses will have to be paid. So maybe the doctor's fees will be waived, but that in your bill of 20 lakhs would just be 3 lakhs. So 17 lakhs you still have to pay. So please take adequate medical insurance also, apart from other insurance that we spoke about. And make sure that your bank relationship manager doesn't talk to you too much about opening a broking account and investing and things like that. Very good chance that you will if you concentrate on that, you'll lose your practice, and it takes time to build your portfolio and takes time to build your practice. It's easy to understand, right? Don't think investing is an art, and if you don't want to spend time learning it, indexing should work fine for you, right? Insurance I've already spoken about. So largely, if you're not interested in investing, use the passive approach. That is what works. Go and look for good advisors. They are available, but they are not too many. So look for good competent advisors, because otherwise you will be on the wrong path and you will not create wealth. You will really be ruined. So make sure that he or she has reasonable fees. Make sure that there is some kind of a fiduciary. You realize that they put your interest before their own interest, right? So that could happen because they are an MFD or an RIA, but it is up to you to talk to them and find out, right? So all these things will help, and try living frugally. I said this earlier. Therefore, minimize expenses, also minimize taxation. If you are giving money to your parents on a regular basis, make sure that you give them the corpus and they earn the money, so that they might be on a lower slab than you are, right? So some of these simple things, invest in your child's name. Of course, right now it's too early. We are still talking about you not even getting married, but make sure all the nominations are in place. If you buy real estate, make sure that you make a will, right? So put all these things together. This is good beginner's list for whether you're a doctor or otherwise, but more important for those people who are practicing, a lawyer, chartered accountant, doctor, whatever. Thank you.